2017-18. And we do. Should we do this now? So, would you like to do this now? Budget consultation.
Yes, certainly. This is part of my ward councillor report that covers a lot of things I was doing in July. Almost. Oh yeah, sorry. I wrote this in July, but still just about live. Herefordshire Council is currently discussing whether or not to accept the 4-year funding deal central government has offered it, and there have been various briefings on that, and slides are available. Get contact me if you want to see them. This, if accepted, will run to the financial year 2019 to 20, and the odds are, we'll find out tomorrow, that the Herefordshire Council will accept it, because we simply don't know what the cost of not accepting is going to be. But there will be a vote in full council tomorrow. What that will mean by that time is that all county councils, all local unitary councils, become self-funding, which means that they are funded essentially through council tax and full retention of business rates, plus some presumably topping up grants. We don't know exactly what the details of that are going to be. The potential loss from the settlement is up to about £60 million over the 4 years on current figures. Could be offset by potential gains of up to 19 million if certain things come to fruition, including all schools becoming academies. And that's a net loss of about 41 million a year on top of cuts that are already planned for. Yes?
You couldn't look towards us a bit more, because I can't
All right.
catch.
Yeah.
It's projecting over there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So yeah, this projects a net loss of about 41 million for Herefordshire Council every year on top of cuts that have already been achieved or which are planned to come about by 2019 to 20. I also attended a consultation with parish councillors across the county about the budget for the next financial year. As also mentioned in my report, Herefordshire Council's got to find £28 million per year of savings by 2019 to 20, which will bring its total budget down to about 141 million. There are various savings proposed in each of the 3 main directorates. 2.3 million in adults and wellbeing, 1.27 million in children's wellbeing, and 3.45 million in economic communities and corporates. There were some words about how parish councils can help, which I've detailed in my report, mostly a wish list in all honesty. But this, the process is open for consultation and runs to the end of October. As parish councillors, we should have got questionnaires sent to us, or they should be coming soon, and they promised to get feedback from the key questions about the services people most want protected and alternative modes of delivery, to use the jargon. I don't know if people have had that yet. It should be coming soon.
Right, councillors, we're going to go through this questionnaire now and fill in what's going on.
We got it? I haven't seen it.
I have one through my email.
When?
Is it a very simple one? I saw
Very recent?
with radio buttons.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I think I did.
Are we as a council willing to support an increase in charges for council services above the level of inflation? Yes or no?
Yes.
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 Well,
Can we vote on yes, please?
oh.
Sorry, Chair, this is not a 5-minute wonder. I mean, this needs talking and debating just to go, yes.
Well.
I mean, what does it incur, all these increases? For who? Is it going to affect the precept?
I mean, yeah, it can only be through the precept. I agree. It's unsatisfactory. Just to give me a simple yes or no answer to such a wide-ranging question as that. But this is our time. We've got to get this in by the end of October. Do we realistically have any other opportunity to do so?
This is the problem, Councillor Warmington. We don't have the time to.
Yeah. Well, we've got to do it tonight then.
I'm sorry, I shall have to abstain because I haven't had documentation. So.
And myself too. I'm not prepared to, on an issue like this, to rush it.
When I presented this at FNGP, I did point out that this was a consultation and the council should should do their homework. It's unfortunate that they have their hard copies of it, but you were emailed it all. I personally felt there were only a few questions in there which are actually relevant to a town council. Some of the stuff is personal, whether you want to pay more for services or less for services, that's kind of a personal thing. But there's some issues in there, some of the questions in there, which are things like suggestions and improvements and capital investments, which could be, and doing things in different ways, which could be a town council thoughts about it, rather than worrying about whether my gender is male or female. Those sort of questions don't matter to us. So really, I think there are only about 4 questions in there which are actually of relevance. I'm disappointed the council haven't thought about it a little bit. I don't know, either that or we're going to have suggestions and we cull the suggestions together and send them off in the time period.
Well, can I say that the Herefordshire Council do want parish councils to reply as a council? Obviously, that doesn't stop us doing so as individuals as well. And I take your point about a lot of questions not being relevant, but they want us to do it, and this is our chance to do it, however unsatisfactory the process.
Councillor Hall.
Yes, thank you. I was a member of the public for the F&GP meeting, and I confirm that Councillor Yeoman was quite specific about this being a last opportunity for us to provide an input on this. And it does actually say in the resolution that the relevant questions are to be identified for consideration at the full council meeting. So my understanding, listening to the debate in the room that night, was that the few questions that were relevant to this council would be identified and would be brought to us this evening. That doesn't seem to be the case.
Could I ask Councillor if you can point out the ones that you think are relevant to the council, so we don't have to go through it all, and see, because I didn't see copies of this document, so I haven't been able to read through it.
Okay, I'll suggest question 3.
Which is?
Do you have any suggestions about what other things the council should consider to achieve the required savings?
Suggestions?
Possibly renegotiate the contract with Balfour Beatty. We don't seem to be getting our money's worth out of it.
Any other suggestions? Councillor Yeoman?
You want me to make a suggestion out of thin air? No.
Next relevant question, I think.
I think I'll be paid an awful lot of money if I can suddenly find Hereford Council for the required savings. I think I'll be definitely flavour of the month. But.
I mean, Chair, in all fairness, you'd have to look at the scale of their remits and what. I mean, they do things that I don't even know they do. I mean, there's probably they're doing the job. That's what they get paid for. To do that job. We control our own precept quite well.
What other questions would you say are relevant for us tonight, Councillor Yeoman?
I would say question 4, to some degree, respondents to last year's consultation suggested a number of activities that could be undertaken locally. Your parish council has the power to charge an extra amount on top of your council tax. Do you think that they should exercise this power and charge extra in order to carry out the following?
Well, we'll have that debate anyway in due course, won't we?
Yes. Then there's, I don't know if it wants, we've sort of done that in the sense of whether we actually do it, as opposed to, so maybe not. But question 5 is of no relevance because that's about volunteering in Herefordshire. Question 6 is of no relevance, that's about volunteering to litter pick and help and those services, which is individual. What do you think that the council could do to improve the attractiveness of Herefordshire to business? And then 5 check boxes.
Through the chair, I can tell you one thing: get our infrastructure up and running properly. You know, especially some of our roads, and I think we need to look at a few bypasses as well, which we've been debating since the early 70s, and still nothing's happened. So I don't know what we're going to do to change it.
In case you could tick the improve infrastructure box.
Yes, Chair. This is the first I knew about this. I haven't been getting emails until, as you know, yesterday, because my computer has been fixed after having a rather bad virus sent to it by the government website. In April, I had to pay money to have it fixed, so I know nothing about this whatsoever. Was the first we knew of it was at the 15th of September. So that's 14 days ago, and they want us to pass comments here tonight, you know, within 14 days. I don't think that's not a consultation.
The consultation actually started on the 29th of July.
When did we first know about it?
Well, I submitted a preliminary version of my report shortly after, precisely for that reason.
I'll also tick the box, access to funding and business support. We need Herefordshire Council to encourage businesses to come into places like Ledbury, not just Herefordshire. And if they've got funding and support and maybe, I don't know, reduced rates or something to encourage more so that our kids have got somewhere local to work. We've got the land to do it, but all of the incentives go to Hereford and they should go out to the local town. So I'd tick access to funding and business support.
There's upskill workers and enable new housing development and other. Is there any others that want to?
Chair, it's a laugh, this is. We've been asking for new housing developments for decades. Yes, we need social housing for local people. We've been asking this for decades. In fact, Herefordshire did their own survey in 2003 and identified we needed 250 affordable, what they call it today, social housing. Then, in 2003, and they've not built anything really significant in the last 30 years. Yes.
What do you think the council could do to improve the attractiveness of Herefordshire to businesses?
Okay, so shall I, Madam Chairman, you've got improve infrastructure, access to funding and business support.
Yeah.
The other 3 boxes are upskill workers, enable new housing development and other. So are you just ticking the 2 or do you want to include the housing?
I like housing.
Social housing.
First of all.
Do you want that in other then? Enable social housing.
We've got enough private housing coming.
Put 40% of social in that.
No.
Oh, sorry, affordable.
Yeah, thank you.
Can we take a vote on this, please?
And those what we've just done. Yeah.
We're going to do that just on upskill workers.
Upskill workers. You need the skill workers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay.
All those in favour? All those against? those abstaining? None. F80, outside pod.
You finished, sorry, you finished all the questions?
Well, I think there's question 8 also. Is there any capital investment you think the council should make? You know, they've listed capital investments such as inward investment, so from other people, create jobs and get local people into work, improve school buildings, improve connection with the roads, better broadband, housing development and key local services. Those things have already been targeted. Anything else?
Chairman, I suggest that we put in there a connected road underneath the viaduct for the strategic housing site.
And can I suggest the better broadband connectivity? We're supposed to be having super fast broadband, but it's not being super fast at getting there.
We haven't in church.
I know it's all copper.
Social care for the elderly as well, if we're having a wish list here, because that's been cut dramatically. We need to wake some people up about it, you know.
To sustain key local services.
Capital investment.
Any more suggestions? Will we take a vote on that one then, please? All those in favour? Against? Abstaining? Sorry, Councillor Harvey.
Yes, sorry, Madam Mayor, you went too fast for me over the grant funding. As I was there as a member of the public at the meeting, listening to the debate around the application that was made by, I think it was the Friends of the Master's House for support towards an events organiser grant that they're applying for. I think it was Councillor Bradford who read the paperwork and noted that they were actually seeking the funding from next financial year. And I just wonder, they were only asking for £1,500. It was a grant that they're looking to try and succeed in obtaining of over £50,000. We're just about to enter our budgeting round for next financial year, so it would be possible to consider making the fullest sum available to them next year rather than offering them a reduced sum now, which was not what they were asking for in the grant application. So I'd just like to make that as a suggestion, and maybe F&GP could consider the additional £500 when they're doing their budgeting over the next couple of months.
I'll put it forward to F&GP.
Thank you.
Have you actually finished your budget consultation? Is that what you want to say on that?
Any further
So
discussion?
question 9 was, do you have any additional comments or suggestions regarding how we deliver services in a different way?
So are we all agreed that these are the responses we're going to give? All those in favour? line and do it yourselves individually.
We'll do so.
F80, outside bodies. F81, correspondence for information. F82, date of next meeting and items for future agenda inclusion. F74, continued. ICT continued. With a recommendation. All those in favour? Against? Abstaining?